Okay, we've gone live without the stream coming in, which is really interesting. So, welcome to It's Not Rocket Science, 5 questions over coffee. I'm here with Kyle Beltley. Sorry, I'm gonna get that wrong.
Hey, totally
Kyle,
fine.
apologies. Beltley. Kyle is the owner of ProActive CPA. Kyle is going to talk to us about some really interesting things about how we manage our finances, manage tax, etc. Kyle, welcome to It's Not Rocket Science, 5 questions over coffee. I hope you've got your coffee in front of you today.
Ready to go,
Terrific
Stuart.
mug. Terrific mug, Kyle.
Ready to
Kyle,
go.
let's talk briefly about
Sure.
how your who is the person you're trying to help. What's the problem they've got, so that we can sort of, as we were listening to you describe this, we begin to get a sense of, is this me that Kyle is talking about?
Sure. So my clients are professional coaches and consultants running businesses that are generating high six figures of sales, and they're people who are looking to buy back their time. And I would say that the primary issue that people come to me with and I help them solve, it's kind of a twofold. Uh, it's first off, it's what I like to call tax FOMO, fear of missing out, and it's analysis paralysis. So with the tax FOMO, we are inundated with social media posts on tax tips, our neighbors giving us tax tips, our crazy uncle at the family dinners giving us, and there's this fear that I'm missing out on these deductions that everybody else knows about. But where do I even get started? This analysis paralysis. And a great example of this is I just started working with a client there, and as we were getting ready for our kickoff meeting, he said, "I hope you don't mind. I just jotted down a few thoughts." Well, Stuart, this guy had composed this entire Google Doc of just all the things that he'd been coming across, and does this apply to me? Where do I start? And so what I do with my clients is distill all that into a crystal clear tax strategy plan for them, where they know, A, this applies to me, B, this is how to take advantage of it, and C, here's the savings I'm going to get from it.
So let's just let's try and explore a little bit then on what are the things. I mean, that guy obviously had ideas about what he wanted to do,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
problems that he knew. What had he tried anything? What were the things he tried to do to overcome this problem before turning to Kyle and say, "Kyle, can you help me?"
So fortunately, he hadn't tried anything, and sadly, that's not always the case. I had
Yeah, I bet.
clients, a client I'll call Ian, who just started working with me the beginning of this year, and he had heard real estate's a great investment. So
Oh
I'm
dear.
going to get
Oh
into
dear.
real estate. And he ended up purchasing a rental house that was out of state. So now he's preparing a multi-state return, and he has to set up a rental property. He was using an over-the-counter online tax product there. And the saying, garbage in, garbage out. Well, the data that he was putting into the software was not correct. He ended
Mm-hmm.
up missing out on a lot of deductions around that rental property. And so when we started working together this year, I went back, took a look under the hood of the return last year, and was able to help him get that rental property set up properly. And the savings, the actual tax savings that he experienced as a result of that, were twice what I was charging
Okay.
him there. And
Okay.
so, I have a colleague, Raiho Jose, who likes to say premium guidance costs a lot less than premium mistakes there. And so certainly don't try to DIY things when you're working with a complex tax situation.
I'm going to have to agree with you, Carla. I know one of the early lessons I was taught when I was a very young business owner was people forget the price long after they've forgotten the lack of quality. So,
Yes.
long after they've remembered the lack of quality. So,
Yes.
the problem that we all try and think of is This may or may not take me a lot of time, but you're not dealing with something which is, you know, so much time based, are you? Although they are paying for your time, they're paying for the years of experience which you've bought into, that you've used as your education and your experience, in order to come back and go, this is how much the value is to you. This is not about me taking 15 minutes over this. This is 15 years of my life that's taught me how to do this for you.
100%, 100%. And that's not even mentioning the time that they would need to take away from their core business.
Absolutely.
To try to learn this, or to even to execute it.
Absolutely. So I think, Kyle, you've been very kind to the audience. You have got a giveaway, and this will be something which is in the vault that we have, which is the systemize.me / free stuff. So describe what this is. A PDF, I think, which is going to be a great asset to a lot of people. Tell us what's in this PDF and how it will benefit them.
So as I said at the top, one of the issues that so many of my prospects and so many of my clients come to me with is just saying, where do I even begin? So I put together a handout here of my 6 favorite tax strategies that most people can take advantage of. And so I would download that there and take it with you next time you're meeting with your tax professional to see which one of these can we put into play to maximize my savings.
And I would, I'd hate to prejudice this, but if somebody comes along and finds they're only using 5 of the 6, they may need to have a word with you anyway.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, terrific. That's a brilliant. And I'll just repeat, if you go to systemize.me / free stuff, you will find that immediately. You can go and download that now and go get that from that vault, and you will be able to get hold of Kyle's top 6 strategies. Have a feeling he may have more than 6 in his bank, but that's the top.
There may be a bonus. There may be a bonus one.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Kyle, tell us a little bit. How did you become the expert that you are on tax? This doesn't happen overnight. It certainly doesn't happen unless you set out intentionally to understand these things. Is there a book, a course, or something like that took you to this place?
Oh, that is a great question, Stuart. And I love when you ask your guests this, because you're always finding great books, great programs to this. And I've read a lot of books over the years, and just trying to distill it down to one. It's really tough. But if I had to choose, I would say that the most impactful program in my life has been Earl Nightingale's The Strangest Secret. Are you familiar with it by any chance?
It's not one I know. It's not one I know.
So I encourage everyone out there, go look it up on YouTube, The Strangest Secret. It's originally, I believe it was a radio broadcast that Earl gave. It's only about 30 minutes. It's very concise, very to the point. And spoiler alert, the strangest secret is that we become what we think about most of the time.
Oh.
And, certainly that is by, no means new to any of your listeners, I'm sure. But for me, I came across this early in my career. It was one of the first times I was really ever exposed to the power of being intentional with your thoughts and setting goals there. And so even to this day, I still find it as a great reset anytime I'm stuck to listen to Earl Nightingale's The Strangest Secret.
That is a great tip, Carl. I thank you for that one, because you're absolutely right. Too often we're not intentional with our businesses, are we? We are distracted. No. I often see business owners, and I deal with business owners most of my day, and I find myself saying, well, why are you doing it that way? And the answer is, sometimes it's sort of like, well, I just can't stop thinking about this. And unfortunately, you go, well, you're missing out on a bunch of other things, which actually you should be focused on. And this should not be even in your thing. So you tend to end up doing it because you've just got locked in a cycle of focus that is the wrong one. And to switch the focus to what you should be focused on is much more important.
Yeah. If you're just reacting to the latest email, the latest text message, that comes across your inbox there, yeah, you're absolutely right. You're going to get stuck in a cycle that is not productive and not, really building up your business to the best that it can be.
And this is where you have to start thinking a little bit about like the future of your business by focus on those tax strategies which actually
Yeah.
enable you to free up the cash, free
Yeah.
up the investment that you might need in order to move the business forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. It may feel like you're taking some time, some invaluable time out of your schedule to invest 1, 2, maybe even 3 hours to sit down
Wow.
with your tax pro and really map out the upcoming year, what you can take advantage of, what you can't. But the clarity that I have seen that give to my clients is worth its weight in gold and more than comes back to them in time savings.
Yeah, I'll tell a small story here. It's one that's rather specific
Please.
to the UK, but I came across a business just recently. The business had hit a real problem. They had a real cash flow problem, and I sort of said, "What's the real reason for the cash flow problem?" It wasn't very obvious from the discussion. They went, "We forgot a VAT bill, value added tax bill. We forgot
Yeah.
this tax bill was coming in. We completely missed it. It swiped our cash flow. We're now in deep trouble because we had no idea that it was coming in." And I looked at them and I basically said, "These bills are paid once every quarter. It's like Christmas. It's going to be on the same day,
Right.
same time every year. What happened? We didn't have a plan." Uh, a 1 or 2 hour meeting with a tax professional to just work out where that was would have solved a whole heap of problems for that business.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Not to mention just the fact that they could have set up a very simple system to remind them
Absolutely.
about that or to automate it there. Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant. Kyle, I guess we're getting towards the end of this, and I'm going to let you go so that you can get back to helping other tax people get their taxes in order, but professionals get their taxes in order. Kyle, there must be a question that you're thinking. Well, he still hasn't asked me the real killer one, and obviously, I might think of it. And probably I'm not going to because I'm a person of very little brain. So, what's the one question that I should by now have asked you? And as you know what that question is, you better answer it for us as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one of the questions that I was waiting for was, what is one's tax strategy in particular that could be a quick win for someone today?
I am so
Gotta
glad I didn't ask that question because that is such a good question.
And I got to tell you, Stuart, I'll preface this. I know this answer. It's not exciting. It's not revolutionary here, but it truly is powerful. And that is for the listeners here in the US to max out your 401k retirement
Mm,
plan there. Now, most people, Stuart, very familiar with having some money taken out of their paychecks there to put in the 401k, and that's great. And that everyone should be doing that. However, I'm always surprised that more business owners don't know about the profit sharing options that most 401k plans have. And the reason that the profit sharing is so powerful, Stuart, is that it is money that the business elects to put into their employees' 401k plans. And it's powerful because if the owner owns a company that's taxed as an S Corp here in the US, that owner will be on payroll and they'll be able to put additional money into their personal 401k while the business gets a tax deduction for it. It's also a great way for employers to reward their employees by giving them a little bit of a bonus that they don't have to pay payroll taxes on. The employees don't have to pay income taxes on there. So using the profit sharing component of your 401k to really max it out is a very powerful tax strategy that a lot of businesses will be able to implement this year and get a quick win.
Carl, it will not surprise you to learn that is not a strategy that is just related to the US. That is also many other countries. Optimizing and maximizing the amount of money you put into a pension is often the best way of
Yeah.
saving tax for the business, but also as you just said, allowing the employee, even if the employee is the chief executive, to get ready for a time when they need to step away from the business anyway and have still got the money coming in that they should have.
Yeah, absolutely, Stuart. As I said, it's not a particularly exciting strategy, but it's been my experience as a professional that oftentimes it's the simple disciplines, it's
Yeah.
the simple steps that we repeat day after day within our businesses that in the long run provide the biggest wins for us.
Kyle, that is a great message to end on, because I think it is a universal truth.
Yes.
Business is actually really simple. If you boil it down, it's about making a customer and keeping that customer happy. And hey,
Yeah.
what could you do better than doing that with your employees by giving them tax breaks and money for when they retire as well?
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Absolutely.
Kyle, thank you so much for spending a few
Thank
minutes
you,
with us.
Stuart. It's been a blast.
I'm just gonna encourage people. If you're listening to this, if you're watching this, if you're seeing us live, if you're seeing this in the recording or listening to this in the recording, just please subscribe to the mailing list. Systemize.me/subscribe. Systemize.me/subscribe. You will get an email once a week, which will tell you who's coming up on the podcast, so that you can join live, ask questions if you want, get on there. If you've got boring, really burning questions, that's the time to sort of ask it to experts such as Kyle, who's been with us today talking about his stuff. And please go to systemize.me/free-stuff to get Kyle's really valuable 6+ special offer download as soon as you can. Kyle Beltle, I hope I've got it right at long last.
Yes.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me, Stuart.
Kyle. I really appreciate it. Came in, but it didn't come in at the beginning. I am going to have to investigate what's wrong with this software. Kyle, let me just check the recording.